All right, we are here in Dubai with Dr. Kareem Ali. I'm very happy to have Dr. Kareem Ali here. So, good afternoon, Dr. Kareem Ali.
Good afternoon, Dr. Roberto. I'm so happy to be with you. It's you're one person from many persons. When I stay, I feel I satisfy my knowledge, and I like the science, and I like how human body works when I speak with you. Because thank you so much for your knowledge you give us.
Thank you so much for being here. And I'm happy because we are together, even not here in the studio, but when we meet together, we always have amazing conversations about health, wellness, science. It's like hours pass, we don't feel, right?
It's true.
So, what I'd like to talk today about is reversing aging. Is it something that it's not possible to be done, or it's possible?
If you look at my face, you will know it's so impossible. It's so possible. So if you looked at me when I was around 36, 37, I was more aged than this now by maybe 20 years. But really, all our body, it's completely will be changed within 1 year, or not completely. At least 95% of our cells will be new within 1 year. So depend on how you eat, what you think, your minerals and vitamins, how you sleep, how you breathe. Depend on this, the situation or the status of the new cells will be. So if you feel and do wrong, you will bring wrong protein in cells. So you will be body wrong. What the meaning of wrong of body? The disease. If you do everything is okay, you will find your body, its new body, more young and reversed by aging. Even by biological age, you every year you can be less and less and less.
Exactly. And what is very nice is that we used to say that there are three pillars in longevity and also how to stay younger. The first one is the genetics. So understanding your genes, knowing what is behind the genes, what's the imprint inside your genes, you can move into very better or different directions. For example, understanding your lifestyle and changing your lifestyle and also the environment around you. Three information together, genetics, lifestyle, and environment can really change yourself. And as you said, in 1 year, we can see lots of difference. And so you can really revert aging.
Okay, as soon as you told us about that, but always when my audience asked me about genetic, I say nothing called genetic. Nothing in the world called genetic. You must correct this for me now. I said exactly nothing called genetic. Don't say I'm obese because I'm genetic. I have genes. My mother had cancer, so I must have cancer. Nothing like that. Nothing called genes. Something called epigenetic. We control our genes. Please explain this because I am wrong or right. Okay, there is genes of cancer. It's suppose I say okay, no, I will have cancer. No, I can't escape that. Or what is the truth? No genes, or there are genes but don't affect us, or I want your experience.
I love what you're saying. It's totally correct. Genetic is what's imprinted in our body since we are a baby, since we are born. And this we cannot change.
Okay.
So what is in the genes, it's not your, for example, it's not your life sentence because we have, this is very good, we have our epigenetic layer. What's epigenetics? Epi is a layer from the Greek word, which remains over the genetics. So what is written in your genes is written, but what you can change is the epigenetics. So this is how we turn the genes on and off. So it's like a light. You can turn on and off. We can turn off the bad genes, keep on the good genes, and that makes a big difference. So this is a process that we need to understand how your genes are doing. If you have some mutations, for example, the MTHFD1 or even the MTHFR mutation that really cause harms in your epigenetic layers. So yes, you're completely right. Epigenetic is much better than genetic because epigenetic you can modulate.
Okay, can I know exactly the percent of environment and lifestyle and the genetic or epigenetic in the last picture of our health or our future, healthy future? What is the percentage of everyone? It's equal 35, or something more important than others?
The genetics, what is printed in your genes that predispose you to develop diseases. Yeah. And I tell you one thing very important. What is written in your genes is not your life sentence. That means even if one person has a gene, for example, for breast cancer, doesn't mean you are going to develop this breast cancer. Okay. Depends on your lifestyle, on the environment, depend on the choices that you make. So genetically speaking, what is written in your genes is responsible for 25%.
Okay.
75% is divided by your lifestyle and environment. Why? Because the lifestyle and environment, they can modulate your genes. They can turn the genes on and off. So they can lead you to the longevity, for example.
Okay, that's amazing. Okay, I want to ask about another something. A lot of people, they say, I can eat anything. It will not affect my genes or epigenetics, but I will not eat a lot of it. Just like, sorry, my colleagues, and we studied in the Faculty of Medicine, in moderation. Everything in moderation is okay. This is, from your point of view, is correct or?
Totally wrong.
Why?
Moderation is what is good for your body. We are not the same person. We are 99% the same, 99.9% the same. 0.1%, we are different. And inside the 0.1% is written things, for example, how you react to the foods you eat, right? I give you just a simple example, okay? Broccoli. You go to every nutritionist, they're going to say, you need to eat broccoli. Broccoli is very healthy. I agree, broccoli is healthy. But for people who are not mutated with a mutation called CBS gene.
Okay.
Why? Because if you have this gene, CBS, working too much, you are going to accumulate ammonia. You are going to have lack of glutathione. You're going to have lack of magnesium. So it's not good. So this gene should be working normally, not working too much, not working less. But if you have these variations, such as me, I'm an example of CBS gene. If I eat broccoli, I start to itch myself because of this variation. But this is only about vegetables, right? Some vegetables. But of course, each person reacts differently. For red meat, for example, can everyone eat red meat with moderation? Some people cannot because they have genetically problems with the butyrate, which is the butyric acid production in the gut, that can lead to the colon cancer quickly.
Okay.
So that's what we need to prevent.
From this, can I understand something? If my body gives me a sign this is not suitable for me, like if I have bloating or I have constipation or I have problem with salad, this is mean, maybe this is sign, clear message from my body, you are not suitable for the greens. And then the other hand, if someone say, I can't smell meat, I don't like meat, I like to be vegan, it's so nice for me, this is means maybe I have genetic problem, so my body give me message to keep away, maybe something like this?
Correct. I know even a boy, and this boy cannot even feel the smell of shrimp.
Okay.
So even the shrimp is being far away. If he feels smell of the shrimp, he starts to choke.
Okay.
So this is a signal your body gives to you.
Doesn't like or doesn't want.
Don't bring close this shrimp. Don't bring close the seafood because I have a problem. So yes, our body gives us lots of instructions.
Okay.
And even things we don't imagine. I give an example.
Yeah.
You know resveratrol? Resveratrol is amazing antioxidant, right? And the resveratrol we can find in blueberries, especially in grapes as well.
Yes,
but how it works in the nature is like that. You have the grapes, when they start to pass, right, they start to be like not so eatable in the shape, they produce a lot of resveratrol outside the grape. For us humans, when we go and you see a grape and it's not so beautiful, you don't eat it. We just put it aside, right? But for the animals, they don't look, they don't think about it. They feel the smell. And when they see a grape passing, it's sweeter, it's nicer, the animal eats.
Okay.
So this is a signaling that the nature gives to the animal. So when you eat a fruit with resveratrol, it's a signal saying that something in the environment is going to change. So the probability of coming a plague or a weather change or something that in the near future this animal is going to be without food is very big. So what happens to the body when you have resveratrol? When you have the signal of the resveratrol, it's like saying close the supplies to the cancer cells.
Okay.
We are not going to feed the cancer cells anymore. So we're going to feed the good cells.
Okay.
So this is why resveratrol is also involved in the longevity because of that. It's a signaler in our body.
Wow, it's amazing how his body works.
Yes, it's
It's
fantastic.
amazing. I want to ask about something. I want to speak little because we speak or we are so concerned about longevity. I want to speak about mitochondria. Just today, I read a book about mitochondria. They say BQQ was found in stardust, the particle of BQQ. So was amazing for me. Why stardust give us energy or have something we need in mitochondria? This was amazing today. So exactly what is the role of mitochondria in longevity? And I know every supplement we will speak about longevity, sure, 100%. Coenzyme 10, resveratrol, BQQ, NAD+, NMN, spermidine, everything. Speak about longevity, he must deal with mitochondria. So what's the relation of mitochondria and longevity?
Mitochondria is our power factory, what gives us energy for the production of we call ATP.
Yeah.
So the coin in our body, the coin for energy is ATP. It's produced in mitochondria. So imagine we have in our body 37 trillion cells, and each cell in our body has a number of mitochondria. For example, the heart cell, which we need for more than 120 years, because I tell you, we are made for 200 years, to live 200 years. So it's possible. So the heart cells, each heart cell has around 5,000 to 8,000 mitochondria. So imagine
Every cell
per cell.
5,000 mitochondria?
5,000 to
Wow.
8,000 mitochondria.
Okay.
Skin. In the skin, we have only 20 mitochondria.
From 20 till 5,000.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you see, the heart is very important, right? So how we make these mitochondria to work to us?
Yeah.
We need to find first what genetic variations you have inside the mitochondria, how you clean, because mitochondria is a factory of energy.
Yeah.
So every factory produce pollution.
Sure.
And this pollution needs to be cleaned.
Yeah.
So the mitochondria has the ways to clean, especially there is one gene called SOD2, superoxide dismutase number 2, that's responsible for dealing with the oxygen
stress.
oxygen reactive species and also the free radicals.
Yeah.
So when you have changes on that, your energy will be reduced. You're going to have fatigue. You're going to have not the performance you need in your life, not only in terms of heart, in terms of sport,
All the body.
but also brain.
All the body suffers.
And PQQ, as you mentioned, it's an amazing supplementation. PQQ is being used not only for generating energy, but also for people who have a problem with memory, people who are starting a decline in the cognition function. It's amazing. So PQQ, yes, it comes from carbon, and carbon comes from the stars.
For this.
Yes.
I understand now.
So this
So
is
it's normal to come in stardust.
yeah. So this is a
from
very
carbon,
beautiful.
I didn't know.
And so it is very beautiful what you're saying.
Yeah.
This is true. And imagine we have the PQQ given the light from the stars in our cells. Okay.
What this mean?
Very interesting. Today I was reading also an article that said that we live in people, and even live in plants, even live in animals. We have a light.
Yes.
Come from the photons.
Yes.
And recently there was a study, like an experiment, saying that when we are alive, we are issuing lights, but we cannot see these lights, but we have very micro nanolights.
Biophotons.
Yes,
I read
biophotons.
about it. Yeah.
And when we die, we lose these lights. And where these lights come from? What is producing this light from? Of course, light comes from the energy.
Okay.
Energy is our mitochondria. So mitochondria is life.
This is a source of emission?
Yes.
Wow.
So it's so important understanding in that. So if you treat your mitochondria, your factor of energy, you're going to live a lot. Even why? Mitochondria is related to, for example, if you have mitochondria issues, mitochondria dysfunctions, you are going to get older quicker.
Okay.
So you're going to have lots of problems that are not supposed to have. Heart, brain, Alzheimer, etc.
Even the relation of the mitochondria when do fermentation or doesn't work well, it will be cancer cells, is correct?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what happens is, which is very serious, when you have, for example, the oxidative damage happening in the mitochondria, that means the cell is losing the energy. The cell is going to die. It's going to have accelerated senescence.
Yeah.
So then you need to have other components in your body to clean the senescent cells. Otherwise, these cells can become a cancer cell.
Yeah.
So it's very important to understand what's your level of aging, how we can stop this aging, and this is possible, and then you can fight against these old cells that are supposed to be removed from your body.
Oh, this is amazing. I know all my knowledge before I do my DNA test. it's completely different after I do my DNA test. After I did the exam or the test DNA, I know my genes, I know what is exactly vitamins and mineral and herbs and antioxidant related to my body. And I know important thing, this body can catch fat if I have inflammatory genes. Not because I eat a lot, not because I want to go to gym, no, because I have a lot of inflammation from my gene. So is it possible, or who people more need so much to do the DNA, or they have a look on their DNA test to know all the knowledge exactly?
Yeah, very good point, because inflammation, all of us humans, we have inflammation, but in different levels. Everything that we put in our body, we eat, for example, creates an inflammation process. But depends on the food. For example, the gluten. We talk a lot about gluten as inflammatory, because the gluten cannot be digested in our body. So what cannot be digested is considered an intruder that stays too much time in our digestive system and is attacked by our autoimmune system.
Okay.
So happening more and more and more, this alarm of our autoimmune system will trigger more and more and more and becomes a chronic inflammation. Okay. So inflammation happens a lot. We can see in the genes if you are more inflammatory or less inflammatory. And there are some genes, for example, the interleukin number 6, IL-6, that creates, even during the COVID time, I don't want to remember that time, but the COVID time, it was responsible for causing the cytokine storm that led people to that.
This is what did.
And who suffer more? People who had variation in a gene called IL-10. This IL-10 helps to decrease the function of IL-6.
Okay.
So it's very common to find people with mutated or changed IL-10. So when we see that, we need to act. So how can we work when we find this type of situation? Let's give to the patient, for example, astaxanthin. Let's give to the patient vitamin D. It's amazing to help on this balance of the L6. And also alpha L-carnitine. The L-car is very good to reduce the expression of the gene IL-6. So there are many things we can do to reduce the inflammation. So it's not Dr. Roberto saying, this is the literature. And based on the literature, we can do many different things.
So who's most people need to do DNA test?
So
according
actually,
to your recommendation?
Actually, the day you were born, and even the maternity in the nursery, is the best time to start doing the DNA test.
Wow, it's so early like that?
Yes.
Okay.
So why? Because you can prevent many diseases and many conditions that can happen during the first years of age, even autism. Why? Because most of the cases of autism, it's not like the baby, the child, it's normal until it gets 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old.
Yeah.
So then something triggers, and usually is inflammation the cause of this trigger.
It's very inflammation.
Yeah.
So
As a geneticist, I tell you that we don't see many patients with variations related to the autism.
Okay.
If they has the spectrum.
yeah.
They have the spectrum because it was triggered. They have, of course, susceptibilities.
Yes.
And this susceptibility was triggered because an inflammation process. So let's work to reduce inflammation. But also, if you are a teenager, if you are adult, if you're a senior, even if you are 100, like, for example, I just came from Japan, I tested 25 patients more than 100 years old.
Wow.
In
And
the DNA.
what after 100, what I will expect or what I can change after 100 years of life to do my DNA test? Why?
Yeah, because then you need to understand how your senescent cells are doing, your aging cells. Of course, you reduce your capacity to repair your DNA.
Yeah.
So what we can do is just help this patient to keep the telomeres not being reduced. So the telomeres are edges of the chromosomes.
Yes.
And when you have it reduced, we start accelerating our aging. Okay.
Yeah.
But we need to, this is our system, make these calculations. Because if we also stop too much this programs are the reducement, we can increase the telomerase, and we don't want to do that. So it's a balance that we do in the patient. So it's
from
amazing.
day one till after 100 years, it will be supposed to do DNA to know exactly what he deal with inside his body.
It's very important.
Another thing from your talking about vitamin D. Vitamin D, I spoke about it from around 7 years. It's like miracle of miracle. This is what I believe in vitamin D. But still now, a lot of doctors speak about it has toxicity, no need for that, just stay in sun. And if people take take the biliary out or they do cholecystectomy, don't care about vitamin D. This is all this stuff we spoke. Exactly from genetic point of the view, what is the importance of vitamin D genetically?
We can check some genes related to vitamin D. For example, the VDR. VDR stands for vitamin D receptor.
Okay.
And there are many variations on that. So you have, for the vitamins and amino acids and minerals in your body, have receptors that the vitamin connects. So, for example, the vitamin D receptor sometimes is not working for many people. And then you need to understand the variation you have and how to solve this. Because even though you stay the whole day in the sun, you're not going to be able to receive this vitamin D in your body.
Okay.
So the second thing that also happens, the vitamin D is, I like to say it's not a vitamin itself, it's a hormone, right? The hormone D. And the hormone D or vitamin D comes from the cholesterol.
Exactly.
So if we reduce the cholesterol of a patient, for example, statin, have a high cholesterol, we reduce to normal levels and then go
down.
Lower level,
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to have the vitamin D available.
Because you don't have cholesterol.
Exactly. And the cholesterol also impacts where? In the hormones also, in the testosterone, the progesterone.
And
So-
all the hormones.
So the balance is very important. In this case, we need to understand. But the vitamin D has a very big advantage. It opens the caliber of your arteries, even reducing your hypertension.
Wow.
So there are many things hidden on that.
And what's the function with the D? I know vitamin D is responsible for expression of some genes, protect our genes from cancer. What is the relation of function of vitamin D and our genes? It has relation?
Yeah, there's a lot of relation. Many genes, they depend on vitamin D to have the expression. So genes even related to diabetes, if you have a good level of vitamin D, this gene can be modulated and you cannot develop the diabetes. But not all the
stop
genes.
diabetes mellitus just with vitamin D normal level. Wow.
Yeah, but
What
when
more?
it's triggered, we need to stop. For example, all the things on the cardiovascular disease, the blood pressure, for example, the mood, for example. So how can you improve your mood? Vitamin D as well.
Genetically.
Genetically. It modulates, helps the modulation of some genes related to the production of dopamine and also the serotonin. So indirectly, it's fantastic. But there is one alert.
Yeah.
We don't want calcium in our body. Calcium.
Sure. More
So-
calcium, more inflammation, and more stiffness.
Exactly. So vitamin D also increases your calcium.
200%.
So when you take vitamin D, it's highly recommended to take the
Vitamin
K2.
K2.
Yeah, MK7 vitamin K2.
Okay.
Why? Because the vitamin K2 redirects the calcium to places that are not supposed to be. For example, we don't want calcium in the walls of the arteries because they get very stiff.
Yeah.
So we need to remove from there and put in the right place. Especially women when they go to the perimenopause and during the menopause, they need to have a higher dosage of calcium naturally. But this we need also to redirect with vitamin K2. Calcium, is you need to know where to put it.
Exactly. Something so weird here. Because we want avoid atherosclerosis and calcium in veins and arteries, we must have K2, okay?
Yeah.
So what is the meaning? If you want have clean artery from atherosclerosis, avoid fat like butter, like meat with fat, like ghee and all, and egg yolk, and all the vitamin K in the life just come from this. Can someone make understand how it can be? I think this is big as a scam in the medicine. What do you think?
The vitamin K itself, not the K2.
K2, I need
the
K2.
K2. The vitamin K2, it's driving all the calcium out of the places it's not supposed to be. But when we talk about the fats, all the good fats and the bad fats itself, it's very important for the cholesterol. And the cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, is not an enemy. They call it the bad cholesterol, but I don't consider it an enemy because without the LDL cholesterol, we don't produce vitamin D, we don't produce hormones itself.
Anti-inflammatory.
But the problem is when you have a high cholesterol level, but beyond that, you have a high oxidative stress. That means you have too much free radicals in your body.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid when you say, oh, my cholesterol is a borderline, a little high. I'm not afraid of that. I'm afraid if you have a high number of oxidative stress, you have a high number of free radicals.
From
because
sugar.
From sugar.
If you eat sugar, you
Yes.
not fat. It's the
Yes.
fat is innocent.
Yes, the sugar is a problem because the sugar will cause problems in your immune system.
Yes.
The sugar will be full for your free radicals as well.
Yes.
So the free radicals, what the name says, free, right? As
Yeah.
we had a conversation the other day, there's a missing electron in this free radical, and this electron, this atom that's a missing electron will steal from whatever
whatever.
they find in front.
Yeah.
So they're going to find the cholesterol. It's a beautiful molecule. They're going to steal the electron from the cholesterol, and the cholesterol will change the
Oxidized.
form. It'll be oxidized,
Yeah.
change the form, and when it changes the form, our immune system detects like an intruder in the body, and the macrophages go and starts the phagocytosis. They start to eat
Yes.
this ugly cholesterol and explodes.
Yeah.
And then all this fat that comes from the fat from the foods, etc., will be attached to the wall of the arteries. And this is very hard to clean. So that's when we start the process of atherosclerosis as well. Not only that,
With
but one
needing
of the
of
reasons.
calcium.
With,
too.
calcium as well. But another problem that happens a lot, and people that don't care too much for this, but homocysteine.
Yeah. Homocysteine level.
Yeah, homocysteine is a big villain. It's a problem, and it happens more in people that we think. For example, more than 40% of the population in the world, they have a mutation called MTHFR.
Yeah.
And this mutation doesn't allow the folic acid that you get from the foods, from the supplements, especially when women are pregnant, the doctors prescribe
Folic acid, normal
folic
folic
acid.
acid.
But 40% of people, they cannot process the folic acid. What's process? Is to transform the folic acid into methylfolate.
Folic acid. Yeah.
So this active form we call methylfolate
Yeah.
is necessary to recycle the homocysteine to methionine.
Okay.
So when you cannot recycle this homocysteine, it
It will increase
accumulates.
homocysteine.
And what's the danger on that? Homocysteine, when it's high, creates scars in the walls of the arteries.
Yes.
And these scars that's created, our immune system will deposit there lipids. It's going to put fats to fix this.
Yeah, to fix.
And suddenly you have the closure of the artery. So many things happen.
This
So
is what we said. Body use cholesterol to fix the result of your food, your oxidation, your stress, your sugar, your bad fat, not because normal good fat.
yes. So what I'm happy is that we can see that.
Yeah.
So you can see who has it, and you can even prevent diseases to happen. Because look, everyone knows people. For example, you know people who are in the gym, very healthy, go every day to the gym, suddenly
Death.
die.
Sudden death.
Or
yeah.
you do all your blood tests or your cardiovascular tests, everything's fine,
Yeah.
and you suddenly die.
Yeah.
Why? Because you have silent diseases, and homocysteine is one silent
One of them.
disease.
It must be in regular checkup.
Yes.
Homocysteine. Okay.
Especially if you have the mutations MTHFR.
MTHFR.
So understand, if you have the mutation
And
MTHFR,
how many persons in world this mutation? How many?
40% of the world
40%
population.
from
40.
people need methyl folic acid when they become pregnant, or they need something to deal with homocysteine more than others. 40%,
Exactly.
around half.
Yeah.
So big.
It's so big, and what the problem is the following. So if you have, for example, methylfolate,
Yeah.
you take methylfolate,
Yes.
and you have another variation related to the degradation of dopamine, and dopamine is, is a neurotransmitter related to movement, to pleasure, satisfaction, reward, and also to the pains.
Yes.
If you have a mutation called COMT, C-O-M-T,
Yeah.
means you degrade, you destroy the dopamine
Yes.
very quickly. Okay, the COMT fast.
Come with
So
depression.
you can have depression,
Yeah,
anxiety, attention deficit disorder,
Low self-esteem.
very low self-esteem. You're gonna gain weight, high cortisol.
Just because you have this
Exactly. It's just one
mutation.
mutation.
Of gene.
Exactly. And if you have also, because it's very common to have people with both of them,
MTHFR. Okay.
and you have the MTHFR mutation, and you say, oh, you need to take methylfolate.
Methylfolate.
If you
But
take-
it become more depressed.
Yes,
So what we do is COMT.
In that case,
Yeah.
you need to reduce the function of the COMT. You make the COMT to be working less.
Yes.
There's some
to
support-
save dopamine.
Exactly.
By what? You have something
There,
to do
yes, yeah. There are some in the literature. There are some supplements that can really effectively reduce the function of the
that? So
COMT.
I can take methylfolate but don't have depression?
Yes.
Because I will
You need together to
slow
reduce
the degradation
yes.
of it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or if you don't want to take anything to slow the COMT,
Yeah.
then you can take folinic acid, which is not folic acid, it's not methylfolate,
It's
they need
folinic
folinic acid.
What it will do?
The folinic acid passes over the
doesn't
gene,
need-
doesn't need MTHFR. So goes straight to the conversion of methylfolate according to what your body need. Doesn't allow this methyl to accelerate the COMT expression.
So that is mean even if good person or normal person genetically he can take folinic acid, it will be more safe and more direct.
I prefer, but
Yeah.
look, folic acid is also necessary. Why folic acid is necessary?
Yeah.
In the first stage, there's a gene called MTHD1.
Okay.
MTHFD1.
Okay.
This gene is responsible for converting the folic acid to 510 MTH.
Okay.
And this mutation when you have means that you are going to produce good or bad quality DNA. It's responsible for the synthesis of the DNA.
Wow.
So we need folic acid. And we get from the foods, from the citrus, green leaves, etc.
From green leaves, it's a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We have the folate. The folate is converted to folic acid.
Yeah.
But that's it. After that, the other gene, the MTHFR, will use what remained from that to produce methylfolate.
Okay.
So if you ask me what's the best form, you can mix both of them unless you are MTHFR. Because if you are MTHFR
must
mutated,
must
methylfolate.
methylfolate.
And then you can also have folinic acid. But then why? Because the folic acid that you do not use will be disrupting the function
Of dopamine.
You disrupt the function also from the methylfolate, occupying space where it's not supposed to be.
Okay.
So we call unmetabolized folic acid. So it's very serious, but we can really
Understand
and
not,
see
not a lot
improvements.
of people speak about that.
No, and we can see people improving. So sometimes it's so easy, so clear how to do it. Sometimes you have people with depression, anxiety, fatigue. They don't know what's happening. So, for example, another day I have a friend. He said, "I smoke a lot. I go to my office. I smoke one cigarette after the other."
Okay.
He has COMT fast.
Okay.
He has a gene that produces low dopamine. He doesn't have dopamine available in the
at
body.
all.
But we can give a dopamine support,
Okay.
which increase the dopamine and reduce the degradation.
Yeah.
So what I did, I said, start taking this, start doing that, do that. And he said, change in my life.
He stopped cigarette. He don't need nicotine to do paralysis for that
Yeah.
system.
And he said, I'm sleeping better. I have a better mood. I'm not eating anymore. He was very compulsive eating. So he reduced eating as well. So this is a very important thing, how we can manage our weight. But to manage the weight, you need to understand what's really going wrong with you.
Exactly.
Right?
It was discovered.
Yeah, and do the right approach. So it's possible to reduce weight. Of course, it's possible. I'm a real case of that. I lost 40 kilos, but I understood the mutations that I had.
Yeah.
And I did the right treatment, a natural treatment, to reduce the weight. And it's possible for everyone.
Exactly. If you know, you will do. If you
Yes.
don't know,
Exactly.
it's luck.
Exactly. So the solution, one fits all, is
Yeah.
complicated.
Exactly.
But there are some things that can really help everyone. And these small things are, the science brings these things to us, right? The combination of ingredients that can benefit lots of people and make people really to accelerate the metabolism without impacting the heart, how they can burn weight, how they can protect the body against the spikes of sugar. It's possible. And I'm happy to say that it's something that really worked for me, worked for many people, and can work for the world.
Exactly. I always told my followers I don't use any supplement. I just used my supplement by your help. Just reported for Dr. Kareem Ali. Just formulated depend on my case. I wanted to two questions. First thing, you write for me liver detox, something for liver. Second thing, it's sugar balance. Sugar balance I recommended for I have some courses against for to lose weight or anti-diabetic or metabolic disorders syndrome or metabolic syndrome. I described this sugar balance. It was amazing. It changed a lot of people craving to sugar, stop eating sugar, stop digest sugar. What about how first? What is the meaning of every person? It must take its a certain supplement for himself, depend on his genes. Second thing, why you give me liver detox. Third thing, how you discover this sugar balance supplement?
Very good. For the liver detox is something important for most of the people. Okay. There is one disease that we call non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And in countries like India, more than 38%, almost 40% of the population has it. And they don't know. And you don't need to be fat to have the fatty liver disease.
Not supposed to be, doctor, I am slim, how I have fatty liver? Sure you can.
But you can understand, for example, if you have fatigue, if you wake up tired, probably you are a big candidate for that. So you need to detox your liver. So detox your liver. And why we need to detox? The liver is our big cleaner on our body. Everything that we eat, we supplement.
We smell, creams, perfume, heavy metals. Liver is the
everything. So the liver struggles to survive. This is one of the most important organs in our body. So what we need to do? You need to clean your liver. The liver detox helps you to reorganize the house or reorganize the liver, and you can have more energy. You can even lose weight. You can have even
more muscle, insulin resistance better.
Everything is improved. So this is one important thing. The sugar balance is really. How
it come to idea to do this supplement is amazing for metabolic syndrome or weight or hypertension and diabetes.
We tested so far 2.2 million people.
Wow, this is supplement 2 million.
Yeah, we tested the people in our since we started to work with genetics, and this we know things that really work for people and things that doesn't work for people. But we cannot add medicine on that. So what we did, we start to looking for which supplements they accelerate some pathways, for example, the MPK pathway, that can help the balance of the glucose. And we create a formula that includes the berberine. The berberine is what? Is the natural metformin, the natural glucophage.
Like Ozempic.
Exactly. So, and also we create another formula which mix many ingredients like the inulin, the glucomannan, the konjac root. Why? Because this is we consider also the fenugreek. And it's also this is considered a natural metformin. So we mix all these ingredients together and in the right proportion that really is effective in the body, and it's amazing how your sugar levels goes down. So what's the advantage? There's no side effect. So when you don't have side effect,
something natural make good impact. So how many months is supposed people use it or lifetime? Or
look, we have people they're commenting so that the number of testimonials increase every day. People say, no, I want more, I want this, blah, blah, and introduce it to the neighbors, introduce it to the family.
I recommend it so much. Sugar balance is amazing.
And it's really, really good formula and really works. So from some people, they have the results in 1 month. Some people, they have in 2 months.
Depend on bodies.
Depend also what you eat, right? Yeah, so if you, look, today someone asked me, can I continue eating the quantity of sugar I eat? I said, no, I don't recommend you eating the sugar, even without that, even without diabetes, even without anything. Sugar is not healthy. We know it accelerates your aging process. If you want to live longer, if you want to be away from cancer, if you want to be away from wrinkles, don't eat sugar. Okay, this is very important. I changed the sugar to glycine, to amino acid, and I have amazing results. About the glycine I use in my house, for example, the glycine as a sugar, as a powder. It's amazing result for me. And for me, it's okay.
You put powder of glycine instead of sugar?
Yes, I use the glycine.
I never listened to something like
this
that.
This is really, really nice.
Glycine is amazing.
Glycine is important for the first thing you ask me, mitochondria. Glycine comes from the serine, another amino acid. The glycine, I put just a half of the spoon. I mix in the coffee.
Make the drink sugary with sweet?
Yeah, it's sweetie, a little sweetie. Yeah,
glycine powder.
You can put the cinnamon with the glycine. You don't need sugar at all. So I avoid the sugar, and of course, you're going to a birthday party. I have a little cake. I eat it. It's okay. But day by day, I don't eat sugar, and I don't use any sweetener, anything.
That's for me. I stop. I advise it's hard, but kill the taste of sugar in your mouth. Kill it. After 2 or 3 weeks, I can't take something sweet.
So it just because sugar is addictive. And when you stop with this addiction, it's hard. The first days, it's impossible to have it. But you're going to stop. And when you stop it, you don't need anymore. And then you give an amino acid that will give to your body energy that the sugar used to give, like the glycine, for example, the glycine. So it's perfect. The nature is amazing. We have everything for us. We just need to organize the things. And that's what we do. We organize the information, the science studies, and we provide to people the best things they have. Even here in Dubai, I'm happy that there is a partner, big partner, and I thank them so much, is the company called Beyond Horizon, the BHC. And they are doing amazing work here in Dubai.
About?
They work also with innovations in health.
Okay.
So it's really helping us on all the projects and so on. So this is very interesting, all the work they're doing here in UAE.
Here in Dubai, you can find anything. According to your field, you'll find best successful partner to help you to get your mission. This is really, this is city of success.
Exactly.
This is what I see.
So everything which is innovated in the world, this is the right place to do innovation. That's why we chose to launch all our innovations in Dubai. Because this is a city of innovation. It's a country of innovation.
Exactly.
So bringing here, you can take to all over the world in a serious way. So I'm very happy with this.
What's the new vision, or what's your ideas or aims next years here in Dubai, or the project of DNA?
Yeah, my main idea now is to integrate it with our layers of artificial intelligence.
Oh.
So we have many artificial intelligence engines that we are creating and we created already, and we're going to know more and more about people. So this is very important because we discover a lot of information knowing you from your blood test, knowing you from your DNA. But there are more information about you that you can share with us in order to understand what's really good for you and what's not good for you.
Okay.
So having this information, we are going to be able to close 360 degrees on knowing somebody, so knowing people.
Okay.
So this is going to give precision.
Exactly, precise decision.
Yes. And this is what really, really changes. And also, the new series of supplements that we are going to launch, for example, the weight management, what you can take, the combination of the 3 supplements to lose the weight. So this is a fantastic thing we are doing now. And even now in this month of June, we are making a promotion because we're launching a new product like for the weight management.
It's amazing.
And this we're going to make in a different level. So we are going to give a very big discount now, just to allow people in this, especially on the summer, people wants to be beautiful, people wants to be
summer
nicer,
body.
right? And this is the right time.
So
this is the right time to do that.
That's amazing. Okay. Can I have some words for message from DNA expert for our audience?
Yeah, DNA is not. I love to say this. DNA is something which is not your destiny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something that you can change. Okay. And knowing your genes, especially some genes, can really change your life. So you cannot do anything about health, about wellness, about longevity without knowing your genes. So knowing your genes is not about knowing bad things. This is very important. It's not knowing, I'm going to have this cancer. No. I don't want to give any bad news to anyone. This is what do? You don't come to us and say, I want to know about myself. But I'm afraid. No, don't
I'm afraid.
Worry.
Don't tell me about disease. No. I will be. I know.
We're not going to give you that. We're going to give you good news. We're going to say, you have these variations. Let's fix that. And I'm not talking about the cancer. I'm not talking about diseases. Okay. I'm talking about your life, your health. That's what I want to help you to live. Not to put in your mind, I'm going to have this. No. Forget it. You're going to have life. And that's what DNA is. DNA is life.
Thank you so much for your sharing your vision, your mission about the DNA. And really, like I told you exactly before, what I know, my DNA, and after, it's completely different. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I wish we meet you again.
We will. Thank you so much,
Thank
Dr.
You so
Kareem
much.
Ali. It's a big pleasure to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you.